Happy New Year, 2020. What an amazing moment here we are in. And this is such a place where the mind is open to shift. Your energy is ready for something new. And I want to say hello to you all. Happy New Year. This is my first video of 2020. And I thought I would pose the question, will this be the year for you that you truly have a happy new year? And so many times the intentions are that we are going to have some newness and some freshness. Yet oftentimes we repeat the same life, some of the same things. And not to say that there aren't many people who do make some shift or some type of change. The question is, will this be the year that you turn up the thermostat on you're happy, you're healthy, and you're wealthy, if those are areas that you desire? The reason why I pose those three is because out of all the people that I've ever coached, all of the coaches I've ever worked with, the number three things that people often ask for support in is, how do I improve my overall emotional state? How do I move my happy up, my happy factor? How do I lift that from the 3 or 4 I'm experiencing to a 9 or a 10? A lot of people ask about, how do I increase my finances or get into a place of cash flow where there's at least some buffer, if not some abundance, to be able to give and contribute to others. And by all means, I have a lot of people who approach me about becoming healthier in their body. And one area that really is missing when it comes to health in the body, the mindset, and the finances, is to talk on the inner game. And what I want to talk about is the thermostat here just for a minute. You know, I'm sitting here in Leavenworth, Washington right now in the room. We have a 5-bedroom house that we rented with family, and I'm in the bedroom here getting away from some of the New Year's cheer downstairs. And it's a beautiful day out here in Leavenworth, Washington. This is central Washington, kind of a Yakima Valley. And there's snow down there, you can see. It hasn't snowed in the last couple of days. I think it's been quite rainy. It's beautiful though. And we're gonna go down to this little Bavarian village. And I'm just choosing a corner to come to you all in, and good to see you. And Chelsea, Renee, Gerald, Tony, Eva, and those of you joining in. So let's talk a little bit about this. And I'm going to give you 3 things today at a minimum that are going to help you make that shift and that lift to another level. And I've tried all kinds of things. I've invested ridiculous amounts of money on coaching and programs and mentoring. And at the same time, it was minuscule amounts of money for these returns that I've got. Even the things that didn't work have taught me and have helped me to learn something, which is amazing. All of your life is a teacher for you. And it's tough sometimes when you're in the middle of a life lesson that doesn't feel so good, sometimes downright painful, tragic. Yet you can sometimes see your greatness and your resilience and the grace that you have through those challenges, because here you are. It worked. You're here. So let's talk about the thermostat real quick. So how do you turn this up? How do you turn it on? How do you shift and really lift into a happy, healthy new year? The first thing is if you do anything, I'm going to tell you the first thing is what not to do. What I've learned and what I've experienced is what not to do is to hit it with an all-in mentality. With I'm going to do it. This is it. I'm finally just going to go crush it. That's violence. And what I mean by violence is anything that you're doing with this level of passionate intensity, understand it cannot be sustained because it's emotionally charged. That systemic emotional, I'm all in, let's go win it. Now, I'm not saying that you can't use that at times to push, but if that's what you're starting with, is to say, I'm going to go and this is it, I'm going 100 days in a row, and that's the mentality you're starting with, then you're most likely going to be the person who goes all in and then who goes all out. It's because there is a yang to that yin, if you will. There is a rock back to the front of the rocking chair. There is a back of the rocking chair that happens, and this oscillating forward and then back, that structure just doesn't support being able to shift and lift and maintain, because it's a mind focused, let's go with my mind and use my mind motivation. So if it's not mind motivation that I'm proposing that you use, what is it? And again, what I'm not saying is that your mind doesn't have something to do with it. And what I'm not saying is it's not good to make a commitment to something. And I'm not saying it's not good to be consistent. What I'm saying is using the attitude of I'm going to do this and I am going to be 100% committed, and I'm just going to go for it, and no more cheat days, no more this or that, is that all in mentality that can oftentimes leave you all out. As soon as you make one choice or are tempted with too many things in a row, then all of a sudden it feels like it's just sucking the energy out of you. So what do I propose that you do? What I'm proposing is there's another model, and this model will allow you not only turn up the thermostat on your health, your wealth, and your happy, but it will allow you to sustain it, the temperature. It will allow you to get to a new place of happy, healthy, and wealthy, and start to sustain that. And it's not to say that there won't be some temperature changes from outside forces. Somebody will leave the window open from time to time, and there will be various things that happen, and there will need to be some tune-ups here on things. But what I will say is, when you turn a thermostat, what happens is, if the outside conditions start to come into the house, what happens is the furnace turns up to match that, and it starts to try to regulate that heat. Whereas when you don't turn the thermostat up and you try and heat the room up by doing a bunch of busyness in your body to try and get things going, you can only sustain that for so long before you run out, and then all of a sudden you're back down to that temperature that you were at before. So how do you turn the thermostat up? Well, it's an inner work. You've got to go to the place. If it's going to be a happy new year, if this is going to be a healthy new year, if this is going to be a wealthy new year for you, then you're going to want to go inside and you're going to find out what's really in it for me. What's really in it for me? And a friend of mine, mentor, coach, Jason Cisneros, taught me, you got to find your WIFM, man. And you really got to be attached to that WIFM. And you think about this, you're going, Alex, are you saying it's about selfishness? Yeah, it is. It's about selfishness. But I propose that your selfishness might have something to do with helping other people with their selfishness too. Now, I don't mean selfish like it's all about me and I don't care about anybody else, and you need just to get out of my way. I'm talking about a selfish selflessness that basically learns to really discover who you are. Because if you don't go in there and discover who you are and what you're really made of and what you're capable of, how brilliant you really are and how amazing truly that you are, it's going to be hard to sustain anything, because you're not connected to that true, genuine authenticity, that inspired, full of breath, full of life self. And last time I checked, the only way you're going to maintain amazing health, amazing wealth, amazing happy is if you truly have it inside of you. Because you can't maintain something that's not in there. And so many people are chasing for external happiness, external health, external wealth. I've done it. I know it. And it doesn't last, because there's nothing outside of you that's going to complete you. There's no person. There's no amount of money. There's no job. There's no accolade. There's no look. There's no experience, because it's all chemically charged. And what I mean by chemically charged is, understand that you have hormones and energy shifting through your body, chemical based, and those things like dopamine and oxytocin and the other types of endorphins that can be released, they make you feel happy at moments and times. When you get a new car, when you get a new relationship, or somebody treats you a particular way, or gets you something, or you finish a great workout, you're gonna, you're going to feel that for a moment. You lose 30 pounds. You get a raise at work, or you start a company. Those are going to be moments where the chemicals shift up for those outcome types of situations. But what that means is that you're happy, you're healthy, you're wealthy is determined on circumstance being a particular way. And whenever you need a particular thing outside of you to be a particular way, then your happiness is conditional. You've got concrete conditions for happiness that when those conditions are not being met, it goes just the opposite. And it drains and it sucks from you. So that's what I'm saying. You got to go to the inner side. You got to go to the inner part of you. And you got to go look into this place. And I'm not saying that in just this conversation you're going to have it all figured out, but what I will say is you'll have a signpost pointing you in the direction. I mentioned this last week on Facebook Live that I'm starting a new series that's going to be done on Facebook Live, and I'll give you guys the times if you want them. But it's basically called the Healthy Heal Thyself, and it's not about just food. It's not about exercise. It's about going in and doing the inner work to who you are. And it's something that I started coaching my clients on over the last year, to the identity level of becoming the person that is healthy, becoming the person that is healthy, that is wealthy, becoming the person that is happy. And you've heard talk about the law of attraction, and I only pause and use this tone as I talk about the law of attraction because there's been so much buzz with it. But what I'm talking about is, the thermostat changing here. And so when you change the temperature to 80 degrees, the environment, all the things around conspire to bring that temperature up. The mechanisms, if you will, bring the temperature up. And so if you're looking to increase your happy and you change the thermostat inside and you direct your energy and your focus on the happiness that's inside of you, you literally start attracting the things that bring more happiness into your life. Your attitude, the way you look at people, what you see in other people. So I'll give you an example of this so that you know this is not just some woo-woo, Alex is going ultra spiritual and I have to just have faith in what he's saying. You can, but it'll be better if you understand the science of it, because this is basically basic science, and I do believe that there's a creative power that made science. Okay, that's just a thing that I've discovered, and I think that science proves that, actually. From all the science I've looked at, it does prove it. But here you go for a minute. So do you know that love and gratitude are the most powerful things on earth? Scientifically proven. And you're going, what? Yep. So when they look at scans of the brain, and when people are actually holding space for gratitude, they're thinking about, not just thinking gratitude and love, not just thinking the words. This is not a cognitive thinking of the word. Thinking about things that you love. Thinking about things that you are grateful for. Maybe it's a person. Maybe it's your child. Maybe it's a situation or an experience that you had. Maybe you've been forgiven of something. Maybe it's just whatever. And when you hold that space and that thought, the frequency that you put off on an actual machine that can measure your frequency, I can't remember the fancy name of it. It's different than a EMG or EKG or an MRI. This other type of thing, they hold it outside of your body. They don't touch it to your body. They put this thing around you. Now watch this. When you hold thoughts of gratitude and love, the vibrational frequency is so powerful and strong as compared to any other thing you can think of. It's the highest frequency. And in fact, the cells in your body start to shift and change. The chemistry in your body starts to shift. Your body becomes more alkaline. The resonant frequency of your body starts to heal thyself, healthy self. Things in your body start to shift. Your face changes. The muscles in your physiology start to shift upward. And this starts to happen. Your breathing becomes more regulated. Your heart starts to become coherent, and little cells inside of your heart that scientists have now proven, have a mind of their own. Oh my goodness, they start connecting, and the resonant frequency in these two things is amazing. So what's the point of this? The point of this is, first off, I know a lot of people aren't going to want to hear this because they're going to want to think there's something I can do outside of myself to make myself healthier, wealthier, happy. And yeah, there are things you can do outside of yourself. Until those things become who you are, they'll be transient. They will be in and out of your life. I raised my hand on this. I know this. Good to see you, Dolores Gardner. Next door neighbor from back in 1970 something or other and early 80s. Wow. Good to see you. Reno, Kelly, Michelle, Betsy, Wendy. Good to see you guys joining on board. So until you change the thermostat and get your body and your mind thinking about things like gratitude and love and what's in it for you as it equals peace and joy, as it equals, and the question really I pose that you ask yourself is, how does this goal or this desire for health serve my soul? How does it serve my purpose in life? And a lot of times people struggle with what their purpose is. And I'm just going to go ahead and skip all of the coaching for a moment. And I'm just going to propose that your purpose is to be where you are. And you're going, wait a minute, what if I don't like my circumstances? I propose, and I'm going to add something, that your purpose is to be where you are in the love that you are. To be in alignment with the love that you are. Now you wait, hold on a minute. So if my purpose is to be where I am and to be in the love that I am, and then I'm in these circumstances that aren't ideal, are you saying then that I get to be the love that I am in the circumstances that I am? And what I'm saying is that you're the oxygen. You're here, and until you accept this identity, this is my strong. I've chosen this belief out of all the things I've tested. But until you accept the identity that your purpose is to be in the circumstances, to be the life that you are, and to be the lifting that you are, truly, then you are going to be constantly pulled into unhappy places. Now, what I'm also not saying is that you are supposed to stay in your circumstances and you're not supposed to change anything or affect those circumstances, or that you're not supposed to move away from those circumstances. No, I'm saying that you can definitely have a goal or a desire secondarily to being to move. But watch this for a moment. Let's say that I am choosing this what I would say is a truth, not a philosophy, but we'll make it a philosophy for now until it becomes a truth for you. Let's say that you choose to be where you are and to be the love and the gratitude and the joy that you actually have been created to be. Okay? And let's say you accept that. And therefore, your face, your energy, your vibrational field starts to shift in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the challenges, in the midst of whatever. And it's not to assume that everybody's got bad stuff going on in their life, but let's just say there's quote unquote bad stuff. And there's a reason I say quote unquote, because it's a perspective. But let's say you shift and you say, okay, I'm actually called to this. I'm called to bring life and life abundantly. I think there's somebody a couple thousand years ago who said that actually. I was called to this very reason, to this very purpose. I was called to this situation. My entire life has culminated and led up all of my choices, all of the people's choices prior to me, in all of creation, all of history have led up to me being in this particular moment, in this circumstance, in this situation, at this very moment in time. Wow. It's like all of it's conspired to get me to this moment. And now I choose to be here fully, no longer trying to escape, avoid, or get out of the situation. But for a moment, I'm going to choose to be my authentic, inspired self. And I choose that self to be love, to be gratitude. And when a person learns, because this isn't like you're going to learn this just from this conversation, but when a person learns how to do that, or if you will, how to be that, it's less doing, how to get rid of all the mind-led madness and come into that kind of state of gratitude, that state of love, It's like all of a sudden, I like that phrase, all of a sudden, you start getting inspirations and things to say to people that are around you. You start getting ideas that come from another level, come from a whole nother level you that was not available to you before. And, you know, a lot of people, and I'll just say it, think God is talking to you right then and there. I do. I believe you're getting the inspired, some people call it the quantum voice or the universe or whatever. It's a God voice. You're like one because you're choosing no longer to escape your life. You're choosing for that moment. Now hold space here, because I know some of you are going, Alex, I don't really want to just be where I am. We can talk about making a shift or a lift. That's fine. But think about how much simpler. Think about how much more joyful the journey's going to be if you start the shift or the lift from your circumstances from the place of gratitude, from the place of being love. And I mean that your body comes into alignment from all your cells. Do you know that just in a moment, your body can start becoming healthier from breathing? Drink a glass of water. The moment you start thinking healthier, the moment you start breathing healthier, the moment you take one action, the moment you drink that pure, clean water, your body's starting to build life in a positive direction, no matter how much crap you ate, drank, drugs you took, evil, negative thoughts, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, your body was in a state of chaos, but the moment you start doing that, it starts healing. Now I'm going to go off the handle here for just a second, and it's really into a simple truth. But it's going to sound like it's off the handle until you discover that this is a truth. Scientifically proven, but we've known this for a long time before science proved this. Check this out. Did you know that even disease, cancer, all kinds of inflammatory based stuff that's going on in your body, all of it, there's not a thing, tumors, stuff that is physically altered, like stuff that has been severed, okay? You know that there's accounts in history, both in the hospitals and both in ancient scriptures, that have shown miraculous things have happened that the medicine and people cannot explain to human beings, to physical structures, to various things that cannot be explained, and in the physical world do not make sense when you think about Newtonian science. It means, like, you know, mass is the center of the universe. That's what makes up things. Those things have been shifted in an instant. But in the quantum world, where we actually look at the molecular level of what you're made of, or what everything is made of, we're not made of substance. We're not made of mass and matter at our molecular level. We're made of nothing. And you go, what? We're made of nothing? Well, we like to call it energy. We're made of a frequency. We're made of energy. But what is that energy made of when they look at it under these certain types of microscopes? And this is just, you go Google this and you're going to be like, oh my goodness. If you didn't know this before, you're going to be like, whoa. And it's true. This isn't like an opinion. When they look and they see your atomic cell, and they look at the electron, and they look in between the electron now, and they look at you, what they see is nothing. It's like you appear and you disappear. At a molecular level, you're there. And when they go to take the photo of you, when they go to take the picture of what you look like at that level, and because they see this thing going boom, in, out, in, out, in, out. It's like in focus, out of focus. When they take the picture and they develop it, there's nothing on the screen. It's like our technology cannot actually even capture an image of it. Now, where am I going? Happy, healthy, wealthy new year, okay? I propose that this conversation has something to do with you experiencing a healthier, happy new year. Because if you don't change the way you think and you don't get a new reality, you ain't gonna get a new reality. If you don't accept a truth that you haven't accepted prior, you're going to get the truth that you agreed with before, which was, I don't know, maybe unconsciousness. Maybe you never really did the inner work. Maybe you really never looked to decide, who am I? Well, here's who I propose that you are. This is going to sound a little off. I'm just going to sound off, so pay attention. You're nobody. That's who you are. I'm nobody. Remember what I said at a molecular level? When they look at you and they look at your atomic structure and they take a picture of it and they can see nothing. Did you know that the universe and everything that's in it, this little desk that this thing is sitting on, this quote unquote phone that I'm looking at, this house that I'm standing in at a molecular level is made up of 99 point something percent nothing. Nothing. That there's more nothing than there is something. Some people have hypothesized that maybe it's 5% of something. But that's just a guess. So across the board, science agree. Now, this is in the new science. In the last 100 years, this has started, okay? But now it's accepted in the last, 5 to 8 years that you are, and everything is more nothing than it is something. So what are we? We're nobody. Then why do I think the way I think, and why do I believe the way I believe, and why do I have, say I'm a coach, or I'm a fitness trainer, or I'm a doctor, or I'm a mom, or I'm a teacher, or I'm an accountant, or I'm a rich person, or I'm a welfare person, or I'm a good person, or you know why you say that? You know why you say you are somebody? Is because somebody told you were that. Because somebody made up a bunch of labels and titles. And I'm not mad at it, I'm just telling you. All the stuff is made up. All these titles, all these labels, all the different. Look at the different religions. Look at all the different denominations of just Christianity or Muslim or Hinduism, and all these different sects and divisions. There's so many. It's because somebody made up some other form of the thing. I'm not mad at it. I'm just telling you. Preferences. Why do we say please and thank you? Why do we think it's good when somebody has some gastrointestinal noise, or we think it's bad when somebody makes a gastrointestinal noise, and in other countries they think it's funny or they think it's good, right? It's preferences and biases. And understand that all this made up stuff, the something, right, and what we call ourselves, when we identify with that, then our life has to go a certain way, or else we're out of alignment with that, right? Okay, so let me go ahead and wrap up here on this. What I propose is when somebody recognizes that they're nobody, and you then can understand that you also have something that's very beautiful. And this is the God thing right here. I'm just going to throw it at you. And this is where scientists like Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bruce Lipton, and Joe Dispenza and Greg Braden are like sitting there really challenging science to say there's a spiritual realm, because there's a consciousness that we can't describe or explain in science. We just can't. And that is why would this quantum field or this scientific essence allow us to be individual and not all just be the same? And why do we even question things, or why do we even want to? And this is the part where language starts to run out. What's this all about? What's it all about then? It's kind of interesting. And what they propose, and I'll just tell you what they propose, and I'll tell you what I propose. It's just a proposal. It's not a conclusion. It proposes that we're basically a chip off the old God block, basically getting a chance to experience life and come to a truth, and that truth is unity. And that ultimately everything is trying to reconcile itself to the oneness that it is. The interesting thing, though, for us to be able to come to that, it's like this God power wants us to come to that on our own. It's like it gives us signposts and hints, but wants us to basically figure this out and learn all this stuff to recognize that the simplicity is that we're all connected. Now, if you don't think you're connected, let me ask you this. If somebody acts a certain way, has it ever affected you when somebody's being a certain way? You're connected. Then you think you can just write them off and say, well, I'll just get away from them and then I'll be, okay again. And you just cut yourself off from a bunch of other people, because when you cut yourself off from a particular person, then anybody who acts or looks or sounds like that person affects you too. cut yourself off from a religion. Oh yeah, I used to believe in that and all those people. And then all of a sudden, I remember this one person, she would hear the word Jesus or she'd hear the word God, and she would just lose it because she thought she was somehow cutting herself off from that crap. She was a prisoner. She was a prisoner because every time anybody would say a word, because she was avoiding something. So it doesn't matter which religion you mention or which prophet or which person you mention. When you cut yourself off and say, I'm just going to get away from it, you can go ahead and move to any location you want in this world. You're still connected to that energy field because you aren't really seeing the reality, and that is we are all connected. And you can't get away from each other, no matter how far away you move. You can fill your life with a whole bunch of other thoughts and a whole bunch of other things to try and fill the cup so that you don't have to think about that other thing. Until you face the resistance, until you face the unhappy thoughts, until you face the pain, you're not going to let yourself become the healthy self. You're heal thyself. That's what healthy self, when you look at that word and you break it into 3, it's heal thyself. There's a God energy that wants us to learn to face these things and actually know who you are, as you are the nobody that can become anybody. And as I talked about this miraculous world of healing and things, we've seen people who have been able to come to the nobody place start to see themselves as healthy and literally see tumors disappear. See muscle start to grow in places that it shouldn't be growing because of the damage. See the DNA in the molecular structures express themselves, the genes express themselves in ways that they've always been programmed to do. And ultimately, what science has now proven, this is the conclusion that has come out in the last year, is that your perception is the most powerful thing above your biology or your physiology or your circumstances. Your perception of reality shifts reality. It's beautiful. And I'll prove it to you at a small level so you can get a base baby level of this, and that is, think about this. There's nothing that you have that you didn't first think of. There's nothing that you are experiencing right now in the physical world that somebody didn't have an idea of or a perception of in their mind. And because they had that perception in their mind, they turned it into an actual, so they turned the nothing into something. Think about it. Wherever you're sitting or standing, you're standing on some physical structure that you think is something. Okay, we'll just, for the sake of this conversation, we'll call what you're standing on something, even though it's 95 to 99 point something percent nothing, and it's just vibrational field. But let's just for a moment understand that all that something that you say is something was in somebody's head, and it was nothing. It didn't exist at one time. And somehow, all the stuff that we see all around us, here we are. I'm in Leavenworth, Washington. That's what we call it. Oops, which way did I do it? There we go. And that screen mesh that you see on that window and all of this house stuff and this structure was in somebody's head. The paint that's on the wall, the sheetrock that's behind the wall, all that stuff, the clothing I'm wearing, you look at the fibers on this deal, and you look at the pattern in this, and the fibers and what makes up the fiber, all of that was in somebody's head and somebody's idea at some point in time, and then they turned it into a thing. They took all of the stuff that we have. So what's the point? The point is, until we start to come into that glory, that amazing place of like, it's all so amazing, we are going to be so caught up in the conversational nuances between two people, between us and another relationship, and we're going to get caught up in what one of my other mentors used to call the thick of thin things. And we're going to make things matter that don't really matter at all. You're going to make somebody's words, stuff that comes out of their mouth that came from ideas in their head that got handed down by their parents, their mothers, fathers, and teachers and preachers. And you're going to get so mad at what these other people are saying, and then it's going to change you and your energy field, and you're going to make stuff matter that has actually no matter. And then you're going to start to create dis-ease in your body. I know this. I'm not free from this stuff. I'm just saying that I'm in the process of freeing myself from the stuff that doesn't matter, that we make matter. And when we start to understand that, and we start to take away the dis-ease and the discomfort of our thoughts, all of a sudden our physiology and our energy starts to shift. We start craving healthier foods that more vibrate at the frequency of our healthy cell. We stop craving disruptive foods that are taking away and that are poisoning. We start craving movement. We start craving to be around other people that are going to bring a little bit of the bright spot and a little more light. And it doesn't mean you're going to abandon the others, but you're going to want to distribute your time a little differently. And this is where now we move from, if you watch this from the beginning, this is where we move from your primary purpose of being where you are in gratitude and in the love that you are, to where you now start getting secondary inspirations, secondary purpose goals, such as, where do I want to make some shift happen? Because if you don't make some shift happen, the shift's going to keep happening. That's happening now, right? So then you start surrounding yourself with other people, start having more conversations like this. And you start practicing gratitude with others that are in gratitude. And when you come back to some of those other relationships with their ideas and their thoughts that, you used to have so much attachment to or be so irritated by or frustrated by, they don't matter as much. Now, this is tough because, I say it's tough. It's only tough to the mind, but it's not tough to your true essence. It's tough to the mind because your old mind has an identity. You have a persona, a personality that's been created that you think is you, and it thinks it's you. But ultimately, when you're in this new place where you recognize that you are just this energy field of consciousness and love and gratitude, again, created in the image of God, and that what happened at some point in time, and whether it happened all at once in the garden or whether it's just a story to reflect the consciousness identifying with the physical, okay, or not, that's not the point. The point is, at some point in time, we identified more with the physical form and things needing to be a particular way than we identified with the nothing, and that we are infinite, and that we are eternal, and that we are love, and that we are the oxygen to the lack of oxygen. We are the heat to the cold. We are the salt to the earth. We are the light to the darkness. And once we start recognizing that who we really are is that light, we can start having inspired ideas that give us goals and desires from that place. So if my physical body is not as healthy as I want it to be, I'm making this shift from an inner desire to be who I am, not to be somebody else, but to be my inspired, healthy self. And that's powerful, because now the thermostat is shifting inside to such a point that I'm just aligning myself with who I am. And I feel the emotion and the delight that comes with that. It's so freeing. Wealth. First off, understand that money is just energy. And if your energy field is needing money to go ahead and distract yourself from the pain that you're in, then that's going to be transient money. If you need money so you can go on a vacation or buy a car that's going to make you feel better about yourself, you can work real hard. And then you're going to realize after a while that vacation won't do it. I got people who move from Hawaii all the time tell me I needed to come to the mainland. Literally, I was just talking to somebody last week. Just got tired of that place. People who buy a car and then 3 years later they're buying another car. I got a friend who literally buys a car every 3 or 4 months because he just can't seem to get what he's trying to get out of a car. And you recognize there's no clothing. You got clothes piled up in your closet that you're like, man, I bought that thing, I never wore it. I thought it was the coolest thing when I saw it. I mean, is this an amen on a whatever New Year's Day? There's no thing that's going to fulfill you. Except for one thing. And that's you being you and accepting it. And fully becoming the inspired, whole, authentic, loving, grateful creation force that you are. And when you start using things like a car, using things like a vacation to experience life or to inspire others, you start using things like where you're at, what you're looking at. I keep looking out the window just because it's so beautiful. We're in, this creation, this space. This is beautiful too. I mean, it's a crooked picture on the wall. All that fibers inside of that bed, fibers on this floor. And all I'm doing is I'm practicing gratitude for the creation and that somebody's idea made all of this, and the field in your body starts to resonate. And you start really, and it's not to say that, like, should I just be content with this room? It's impossible. I mean, you can, but if you're an inspired energy field that's made here to create and to subdue and to explore, and you shut down, then you're no longer using your creative energy force. And that's why, when you get a certain thing or you've seen a certain thing, then you kind of want to go get the next thing or see the next thing. It's because you're a creative force. And is there wrong or right with that? I mean, there's a lot of judgment. I'm not here to even begin to talk about wealth meaning money, but let's just for a minute finish off. I'm gonna wrap up this conversation in a moment, but let's talk about money for a second. Your relationship with money, as I was saying before, if it is based on trying to heal your mind or the pain or like, somebody might drink a lot of alcohol. I know there's moments in my life where I'm drinking alcohol to try and numb the pain of my circumstances. There's times where I've bought things physically to try and basically give myself some excitement, booked a trip. And I'm not saying that's wrong. What I'm simply saying is that why are you doing it? It's because you're not able to find it in yourself. Imagine a time where you've gotten to the point where you are 100% fulfilled in being where you are. Most of the time. There'll be times where you fall in and out of that, but most of the time. And then imagine if you're inspired to do something or go somewhere, it's secondary because it came out of your inspiration. Then let's say that like you're going to go and experience a trip to Hawaii. My family's going to be going to Hawaii in about 2 weeks. At least that's the plan. We'll see what happens, right? We've paid for it and it's all taken care of. But I say that's the plan because we'll see what happens, right? I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know when I'm going to get a call. Something else came up. Something happened in my family's life. I don't know. Plane goes on strike, whatever. All this stuff can happen. See, I'm open to it though. And that's the beautiful part. When where you are, being you is your primary purpose, and then something comes up on your secondary goals or desires that throws a hitch in the giddy up, guess what? You're still happy because you're still you. Hey, that's praiseworthy. I'm still me. Has Alex lost his rocker? Yes. To the mind-led identity of needing to have more. I'm off my rocker. I'm off my persona rocker of who I used to be that was so attached to being treated a particular way. I'll just be a little vulnerable. So yesterday it was a situation, I don't want to lose train. So what I was talking about was Hawaii. Okay. So let me finish the thought process on the Hawaii trip, and then I'll tell you this story. That's real. It's real. So you're headed to Hawaii, and something comes up. Plane goes on strike. You can't go there, and flights are canceled. Storm comes through, like literally jacks up the place. But you have learned to be happy with where you are, and you recognize that all you were really going there was because you were inspired to experience what Hawaii was like and to enjoy yourself there. Well, now that you're not going to enjoy yourself there, You get to enjoy yourself where you are, which is beautiful. And then you go, but the money, we didn't have travel insurance. We saved up $7,000 to go to this trip, the tickets and the thing. Alex, you're making it like it's going to be easy. It is easy to the true you that is nothing, that is not, I'm talking about the you that's free of your mind's ideals and expectations. Okay? When you get to this place, imagine you get to this place called home inside of yourself to where you're happy experiencing life for the simplicity that it is, and that you recognize that you are to be the love and the gratitude wherever you are, and you decide to make that your primary purpose and home. Then the secondary things in life, they're just experiences. And in fact, they're inspiring to others when they hear that you had something happen and they're like, how did you, like, aren't you pissed off that happened? Like, I remember, I got so many stories where this has started to happen now that I'm shifting into this, where quote unquote, I've lost something that was worth a lot. I do quote unquote because it's all assigned. The meaning of worth and value, we assign it in our mind, usually because other people told us that this is worth this. You know, Dolce & Gabbana, this brand is worth this. And it's amazing. Like, it's the same material as this other stuff, but it's worth 1,000 times more. My son was talking about some basketball shoes that were like $600. He's like, dude, they're so amazing. And I'm like, whoa, right? We have all that assigned value. And then we like get more mad at people when they break our more valuable stuff. We seem to lose sight of the value of the human being that's in front of us because we assign too much significance and value to a possession. And then all these wars start. It's because we lost sight of the connection to the unity that we are. So anyhow, you are your Hawaii, is what I propose. And when you become your own Hawaii, freedom starts to begin. So check this out. My wife and I were driving to Leavenworth, and we had sat in the car for a long time, and I hadn't moved my body for a while. And there's a couple things we haven't come able to find unity in these are mind-led things from a being standpoint. I definitely see myself as one with my wife, but from sometimes the ideas in our heads. So even though I'm talking about this, the reality is there's still these preferences, these biases in the mind. Take a while for yourself to start to fall away. Well, you recognize they're happening. You don't get a chance to, so I don't want to get too weird sounding, but this is, if you understand how the biology and the neuroscience of your brain works, you understand that your subconscious mind is like unbelievably 40 million times more powerful. I think that's the actual number. I think it's like 40 million times more powerful than your conscious mind is. Like, your conscious mind can like hold, think about a computer of being like 40 kilobytes of information in your conscious mind at any one focused time. Whereas like in your subconscious mind, it's like 40 gigabytes or terabytes. It's ridiculous amount of difference. So we're not conscious of all the thought processes that are running. We go mad, we go crazy if all of the thought processes we have. We think like 80,000 thoughts a day, okay? And so it's a ridiculous amount. So one of my subconscious programs came up yesterday, and it showed itself in a not to the power of way, which means caused a little riff. So we're driving Leavenworth. Girls are in the back seat. They're starting to get restless, and they're getting irritated. Mama's getting irritated. I get irritated when Mama gets irritated. And I say I, the persona me, not like the true love gratitude me. Love gratitude me is fine, but I didn't realize this persona was running a program. And we get to Safeway, and we're pulling up in the store, and here's what happens. The kids are yipping about something, and we go buy some foods, and we're getting ready to go to the family holiday thing, or this house we rented with our family. And I have this persona of mine has a little tension with all the family being in the house and me not getting all the activity that I normally get to really kind of be and enjoy just being. And long story short is I haven't fully embraced how to be the love and the gratitude with these other personalities all the way yet, which I'm excited about becoming more of. Okay? So this is all hindsight, by the way. This is not like a conscious thought that's happening at the situation at Safeway, right? This is all hindsight, like hindsight 2020. This is the year of perfect vision, by the way, if you didn't catch that already. This is your year of perfect vision. So let's make it that way. So this is the beautiful thing that happened. Crazy beautiful. So we're in the car, and there's this bag of chips, like these barbecue chips. And I'm a health coach, by the way. And there's a bag of barbecue chips. I open up the bag of barbecue chips. I stick my hand in it, and I stick a chip in my mouth. And my wife goes, "Can you wait?" And I'm like, "Take another chip." And she's like, "Can you just wait till we get to the house?" And my mouth opens up, and I go, "No, I can't." And she goes, "Really?" She goes, "You're not," and I can't remember exactly what she said, but something about the world revolve around me or something like that. I said, "Actually, the world doesn't revolve around me. This is just me telling you no, I can't wait." And man, that attitude, that, what the heck was that? And she was backed off, because basically I threw up this wall that said, "Don't come in here." And I'm rolled up the chip bag, put it down, thinking, "Alex, did you apologize?" Didn't apologize. Because I don't know what I did wrong. Because there is no wrong, right? And some of you are going, "Man, dude, that was wrong. Your attitude." So I'm sitting here just doing this little analysis of this. And I just wanted to be with this for a minute. I was because I'm not we're not getting a divorce or anything over that, but but that was definitely not to the power of. So I'm trying to sort it out, because if I do apologize for this, I really want to know what the heck was going on there. So here's what happened. We're still talking about creating a healthier, happier, wealthier you, right? Well, doesn't matter how much I do out here. This is a human being, my wife I'm talking about over here. And again, identity-wise, this is, there's all these rules with, this is your wife, this is your husband, you're supposed to be a certain way, and there's a dynamic and all that. But for a moment, I'm just considering, what was going on inside of me? What's going on inside of me? What am I experiencing, if you will, that has this attitude? First off, that I needed to open up a bag of chips right when we got in the car. And what was it that this was going to give me? When I don't even, from a health standpoint, want to put chips in my body, because they don't resonate that great with my body. They don't add life to my body that much. And my wife knows this about me. So she was like, "Can you just, do you need those? Do you really want to eat those?" But I took it as some kind of my persona took it as some kind of a personal attack on, what do you call it? Like her controlling me somehow. And again, we'd been in the car for a long time. We've been driving and all this stuff. And somebody say, "Oh yeah, you weren't moving your body. You were, 5 hours of driving. You're going to see family and you're all going to be bundled up in a house." It can make all the excuses. But the reality is that I was experiencing something inside of me that I hadn't yet learned to be with and to observe and to see. And it got exposed all at once with that situation. And so what I'm proposing is that a lot of times the anger, or the times where we feel like somebody else is doing something to us, was previously set up within ourselves with how we were already thinking, or how we hadn't already recognized certain thought processes that were going on. And so this is beautiful that this happened, as much as my wife's irritated at me right now. At least, I don't know if she is, but that's all my senses, all my good past memories are telling me that, dude, you got this little schism, this little division you created, because I still haven't apologized. It's now the next day. Okay. So this happened last night. I've been nice to her since then and all that. And she's been cordial with me. And again, this is just from the personality standpoint talking. But the lesson I learned here is that I'm going to have a hard time being my happy, healthy, wealthy self in 2020 if whatever was going on there still stays in operation moving forward. Especially since I'm being held to a higher level of accountability. To who? To within myself. Because I'm starting to become aware of what doesn't matter and what does matter. And somehow a bag of chips and me being able to stick one in my mouth seem to matter more than being the love and the gratitude with my wife in that moment, no matter whether my persona felt she was trying to control me or not. And I'm not facing this with judgment. I'm not facing this with and this is how these bad resolutions get set, is that I'm going to be the nicest husband in the world and I'm going all in to be a servant to my family. And then we fall all the way off. And that's not what I'm going to approach on this. What I'm basically saying is, in 2020, right now, in this moment, I have the opportunity to become more aware of what drives certain personality behavior. And I get a chance to be more, in this case, aligned to say, you know what? I'm going to start becoming aware when I'm sitting longer. How am I feeling? What am I experiencing? And when I start feeling tension in my body or irritation, I get a chance to remember that I'm the love and the gratitude and I'm the life. I'm the life-giving force. And I don't have to be that perfect thing all the time, but I can't not, because it's who I am. So I guess I could act like I'm not by choosing to act like that personality that seems to think, woman, get away from me, get out of my space, which is kind of what that chip-eating dude kind of did, was like, let me eat my chip. Shut your mouth. I didn't say that, but that's kind of what my attitude basically said, man. I laugh at it because it's not me. And what I propose is that your bad attitude, your poor choices, the unhealthy choices that we make to feel better, like that chip represented some dopamine being released in my body, some kind of oxytocin of I just got some gratitude or gratification. What I propose is those things that we say and we do, those cravings. Some of you struggle with pornography. Some of you struggle with alcoholism. Some of you struggle with extremism or various things. And I say you struggle because some of you are struggling. I'm not saying that, that you do those things and that you're struggling. Some of you are struggling with just a lot of things. I don't want to name all the stuff, but some of you are really struggling with some stuff. And you're struggling because it's against you. And not because I say it's wrong or right, or because society says it's wrong or right, or because some scripture says it's wrong or right. You struggle because inside of you it's not right. Not right for what? It's not right for your true being, your true essence of who you are. And so here you have an opportunity to make the shift, to change the thermostat and say, you know what? I'm going to align my outer world with who I truly am in my inner world. I'm a life-giving force. I'm a creative power. I'm love. I'm gratitude. I'm a chip off the old God block. I was created in the image of amazingness. And now it's time to align. And I'm willing to go on this journey and be curious about it and open. Notice the difference between all in, aggressive, blow it up, crush it, dominate, let's go kill it. It's just that's not sustainable emotionally, energetically. And I'm not saying there's not times you're not going to use some of that to have a little fun. But if your intention is to really step into the power of life, you're going to want to consider making your primary purpose to be where you are. And your secondary purpose can be inspired things that come into you to do. So, yeah, I do feel inspired to go now from this place to ask my wife for a little bit of grace. Hopefully she won't have to use too much. And if she needs to, I'm going to ask her if she will. and I get a chance to just share in love with you guys. So moving forward into 2020, I'm doing some Facebook Lives and some webinars if you want the times where I'm going to be starting to break out how to move into the identity that is the powerful part of who you are. I've been doing this work for the last 2 years on myself, and it's just been amazing, and I'm more grateful than I've ever been. And yeah, life's been pretty amazing. I've worked half as much this last year, and I've made a ridiculous amount of income compared to what I've made before, working half as much time. And I didn't set that as a goal. It wasn't like I'm going to work half as much and then make twice as much. But it just happened. I knew something great would happen. I was open to something great happening. I spent more time, this is sad in some ways, personality-wise, and it's just amazing to me too. I'm glad I got a chance to experience it, but I spent a lot more time with my son this year and my older daughter, Brianna and Jackson. And, for those of you who don't know, I have a blended family situation, and they got kind of pushed out of our house a couple of years ago. And I'll raise my hand and say I was a part of that because there were some personalities and attitude things that were happening. And now I'm bringing that relationship back into alignment. My relationship with my ex-wife, Sherry, has been brilliant this last year. It's like, who the heck are these two people getting along the way we're getting along? My relationship with my mom is growing in so many ways when it was so estranged, and yet we don't see each other that much, but when I do see her, I feel a connection. Jill and I are really in a place where she's having to get to know me again, and that's challenging for her because I have made this shift from being less of a human doing to being, and that's different. I understand. And so she's like, who the heck is this personality? Because I'm really not just the religious guy trying to convert everybody over to my belief system, but I've been being available for various types of people, different ideas, different thought processes, and I've been getting along in ways that I haven't with people of various things. I've been giving away more money than I've ever given away. I've been meeting needs. And it's just like, it's phenomenal. And I'm excited about it. And I told someone I think it was my last Facebook post or a couple of them ago, that in 2020, my intention, and it just is an intention, it's not an all or nothing goal, is to help other people step into being able to live their 2020 life, their life of perfect vision. And when I say perfect, I'm not talking about without mistake, because mistakes are perfectly imperfect. What's that mean, Alex? Perfectly imperfect. It's all for you. I mean, a mistake is an action you took that missed. So take another one and learn and grow and get up. Imagine that babies weren't allowed to make mistakes. Take one bad step and you're an idiot. Don't even try and walk again. No, come on, you're doing so great. Take another one. Let's go. It's our year. This is our year. This is our time. And why is it our year? It's because it's right now. There's no other year. There's no other year to do it in. This is your time. This is my time. This is our time to learn to love in unity, because we can see that picking a side ain't going to do it. All right, love y'all. I'm going to go spend some time now with those other human beings, my family. I love you all. Let's connect. If you are inspired in any way, shape, or form, understand that inspiration came from within inside of you. It's the love and the gratitude that's in you, and I'm just a chip off of you, and you're a chip off of me, and we are better together, baby. Another level you. Look forward to hearing from you.